Hi, guys. My name is Crystal Curry. I am a licensed clinical mental health therapist, and my specialization is in childhood trauma. I meet with clients. I run a lot of programs that focus on healing the impact of childhood trauma so that you can live a life of authenticity, purpose, and freedom. And so, what I have been experiencing and talking with and working through with a lot of my clients is something that I want to address today. It is an elephant in the room. It is something that's very known, but not talked about. And it is the fact that a lot of times, especially around the holiday season, people have to be around the people who abuse them. And so when I talk about abuse, I'm talking about physical, I'm talking about emotional, I'm talking about mental, and I'm also talking about sexual. And oftentimes people throw out statements or things that people who are in these situations should do that is completely off target and miss the mark, because they really don't understand what it's like to be a victim of abuse in a dysfunctional family. It's not always as easy as saying, don't go, because what is known is sometimes you deciding to go against the grain or not show up or not accept an invitation, it causes more issues, more questions, more conversations, more statements that you're not mentally or emotionally prepared to handle. And it also doesn't work like they show up in the movies where we're sitting at the dinner table and then all of a sudden you choose to call out Uncle Jim who abused you when you were 8 or 9. And then everybody goes to your side and pretty much criticizes, kicks Uncle Jim out the family, and then we're walking through the field and the flowers the next day. It doesn't work like that because in reality, if you are a victim of abuse in a dysfunctional family, there are also people in your family that are actively protecting the person that abused you, whether it is by saying, you know, whether it's when people talk negative about this person, they protect him, whether it's they enable them, whatever it is, you understand that everyone in your family may not be on your side. So when people say, just say something, just don't go over there, it's not always that easy. I get it and I understand it. And that's why it's so important to have this conversation because ultimately, when this video is over, I want you to feel validated. I want you to feel affirmed. And I want you to feel like you have a little bit more control over what happens to you when you have to engage with your family who either abused you or they're protecting the abuser. So let's talk about the fact that when you go over for the holidays, when you go over for family engagements, whether it's a cookout or Thanksgiving dinner, there could also be thoughts in your mind about who else knows? You see your abuser. Does my abuser even remember? Do they remember and they haven't said anything? Has this abuser done this to other people? Do they remember? Or are they not saying anything like me? There's so many questions, thoughts, and scenarios that go into your mind when you get in these situations, and that is completely normal. Because what your brain is trying to do is create a plan to understand and figure out how to emotionally survive around people or in an environment where you don't feel emotionally safe and secure. And then also, maybe when you know you're going over there, when you know the event is about to happen, when you know the dinner is about to take place, your body starts to feel really anxious, very fidgety. Maybe you get nauseous, your stomach hurts. Maybe You have frequent trips to the bathroom. Maybe your head starts hurting, you feel lightheaded, you start sweating, memories and emotions about what happened start to flood your brain. Because what we do understand is that trauma doesn't come back as a memory. Trauma comes back as a reaction, your body's reaction, your emotional reaction. That is how it shows up. And so I wanted to even say that because there are some of you who may have even tried to tell your story, tried to call out your abuser, are trying to work up the confidence or trying to figure out how to make it happen. Your body is telling you and affirming you that it happened, even if no one will validate that it happened, even if people are trying to make excuses, even if people are trying to make your abuser seem like in this great light, they have a great job, or they're doing great in their career, or they can do no harm because of A, B, and C. Your body is telling you that even though they may not validate how you feel, even if you don't remember all that happened to you, your body is letting you know through reactions, maybe not memories, but through reactions, that it did happen. And that is all that matters. And me sitting here as a person who works with people just like you all the time, I want to say that what you feel and what you remember happened. It shouldn't have happened. I validate your feelings. I validate your thoughts. I affirm where you are right now in this place. And so when you go, if you choose to go, because I understand that you can say, no, I'm not going over there. I don't want to go over there. If you have to make up an excuse, make an excuse. I gotta work, I got a migraine, I don't feel good. Make me a plate, I'll come by later. Send me pictures. I really want to make sure I don't miss it. So sorry, y'all. I really wanted to go, but my car's having trouble. I'ma fix it. I'ma work on that. Send me pictures. Save me a plate. I'll come pick it up tomorrow while you stay at home doing nothing but emotionally safe. But if you decide that you want to go, because you can decide that you still want to go, this is what I want you to do. One, I want you to prepare yourself. Do not walk into this situation and not prepare yourself. When I say prepare yourself, I want you to be honest with yourself about how much you can take. You may decide that I am going to go late and I'm going to leave early. You may decide I'm going to go, I'm going to fix my plate, or I'm going to talk to the person who the event is about, and I'm going to leave. You may decide that the moment that Uncle Jim starts drinking, because when he starts drinking, it makes me uncomfortable. The things he says, when he gets really fidgety, when Aunt Brenda starts drinking, she starts telling family secrets and she starts being combative, and I don't want to be there. The moment you see them start drinking, you make a plan that says, I am exiting stage left. I got my excuse ready. My purse is already with me. My to-go plate is already made. I'm leaving. And you exit stage left. You may decide, you know what? When I get over there, I know my cousins, they're not going to stay long. When they leave, I'm leaving because I don't want to be left there by myself with them. Create a plan. Have your excuse ready. Don't get caught off guard. And let me say this to you. With your plan, execute your plan. If Uncle Jim, Uncle Brenda starts drinking and it makes you uncomfortable, or people start playing, card games or whatever, and that makes you uncomfortable, do not convince yourself to stay. because we do that. Oh, we're here. It may not be that bad this time. When has it never gotten that bad? It's the same thing every year, every family function. They haven't proven to you that anything will be different. So why are you trying to convince yourself that it will be different? Don't exit stage left and do it as soon as you planned to do it based on what you saw. Don't discount your body communicating to you that it's uncomfortable, because trauma comes back as a reaction, not as a memory. Second thing I want you to do is hold your boundaries. If you don't feel comfortable being hugged, and maybe you're like, I can't tell them I can't hug them, because that happens, right? Why you don't want to hug me? You think you better than me? Choose a side hug. Choose a one-handed hug. Whatever you feel like you need to do that makes you uncomfortable. Pull out a joke, say a joke, use distraction, defer to something else. Have a plan that's going to help you keep your boundaries. Do not stay in the room alone with the person. If other people leave the room, you leave the room too. You don't have to stay. Okay? If they start having conversations about something that you don't want to talk about, the younger days or when we used to play house and all that kind of stuff, pick yourself up, take your stuff and move. That is your boundary. We're talking about mental and emotional boundaries here. And another boundary is a boundary that I mentioned a little bit, but I want to explain again. A boundary with yourself is saying, Crystal, me, I will not try to convince myself that it's okay to stay. That is a boundary I have with myself. I will not stay longer than I said I would. If I said I'm going to leave at 7 o'clock, at 6:55, I'm getting my stuff and I'm executing my plan. Because I understand that I may try to convince myself to stay in a dysfunctional space longer than I need to, because in all honesty, I know how to operate in dysfunctional spaces more than I know how to operate in healthy spaces. And that is the reason why I try to convince myself to stay. My pain tolerance is way too high. My tolerance for chaos and dysfunction is way too high. And that is why I try to convince myself to stay, because in all actuality, my brain knows how to operate and move. But I understand that this holiday, this family gathering, this family function, I am going to do something different, because I am actively trying to heal from the childhood trauma that I've been carrying with me for my entire life. Plan your self-care. This is number 3. Plan your self-care after you leave. Whether it's going home to go to a movies, you going to a fast food restaurant and eating the food in the car while you're watching YouTube clips, whatever you need to do, plan your self-care, because your body has had an emotional and mental reaction to previous trauma, and you need to calm down. You need to bring your body down. I talk to my clients and I teach them about how childhood trauma dysregulates your nervous system, and I teach them how to bring it back down. I don't have time to do that today, but if you want to work together and join one of the programs, just hit the link underneath. But you're going to have to do something that brings your nervous system back down, because your nervous system was revved up because it didn't know if it had to defend itself against the person that abused you or against the people that were protecting the people that were abusing you. Because let me say this, if you were abused, I can guarantee it, you're not the only one. Because what does research say? Research says to us that people who are abused mentally, emotionally, physically, and sexually, it is more likely that you're abused by someone you know more than someone that you don't know. And it also says that abusers don't have just one victim. And if they've gotten away with it for this long, because you're just not ready to say anything, and that's okay, there are others. And I work with clients all the time, and we prep and prepare them for whatever plan they want to do. If you want to say something or if you don't want to say something, whatever the plan is, whatever you want to do, I'm here to support you through it. But since the holidays are coming and the family functions are going to be frequent, I want to prepare you until you and I can come up with a plan on what to do next. So we have preparing in advance, setting boundaries, and self-care. Okay. The last thing I want you to do is when this is over, when you've gone or when you've decided you don't want to go, I want you to say and create a plan on how you're going to heal. Because this ducking and dodging and having to make excuses and having traumatic reactions when you even think about what you have to do and having to mentally prepare yourself to go over and be with your family and feeling so physically and emotionally drained when you leave, we can't keep doing this. We have to be more proactive and less reactive. We have to be able to control and manage how our body responds. We have to be able to make sure that we're healing the trauma so that we no longer have to do all of this, where we can say no and be completely okay with saying no, where we can go and be completely okay about vocalizing what we will and will not accept. Well, we'll be okay with doing whatever we need to do to make sure that we are feeling safe. I understand that what happened to you was not fair. It should have never happened. You should have never been in a situation where you have to watch this video. But unfortunately, it happened. It sucks, but you are now responsible for releasing yourself from the immense mental and emotional prison that childhood trauma creates. Heal anyway, even if they don't validate what you experience, heal anyway, even if they're protecting the person that hurt you, heal anyway, even if the healing is ugly and it doesn't feel good and it's overwhelming and you really don't understand why you have to go through this. I get it, but heal anyway so that you can be authentically free, living in your purpose, not afraid to take risks, not questioning your decision making, not people pleasing, not rescuing, not minimizing yourself when you walk into the room, not self sabotaging, not recreating unhealthy relationships because you only know how to thrive in dysfunction and not healthiness. Heal anyway. You owe it to you. They didn't do it for you, but you do it for yourself. And guess what? I'm rooting for you. I do this not just from a professional place, but from a personal place. So everything that I'm saying to you and trying to get you to do, I've done it for myself. So I get it and I understand, but I do know what will happen if you don't make a decision to plan your healing today. You have to do it for you. If you're a mama, do it for you and your kids. If you're a daddy, do it for you and your kids. Do it so that it stops here. Listen, I'm Crystal Curry. Thank you for joining me. If you want to reach out, hit the link below. Let's work together. Follow me on all social media platforms at Crystal R. Curry. Listen, I'm rooting for you. You can do this. Next year around this time, it'll be completely different. I have clients who are graduating from my programs in just a few weeks, and things are completely different from them. And you know what they say? I am so glad I made the decision to choose me. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.